Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our weekly sort of analysis show. And there's no games today, so we're back with this one. And I mean, it's the day after, isn't it? It's still sinking in for some people. The 7-0 defeat to Liverpool for Manchester United. And as always, there's always inquests and there's always reactions, overreactions, in some cases, over analysis. And one of the things that I've seen is obviously the criticism for Bruno Fernandes, and it's come from a lot of places. It's come from experts, pundits, fans. There's so many people. Some of the things that I've seen though, and this is an episode, this is right off the bat, it's the defense of Bruno Fernandes. And I mean, some of the things that I've seen, that people saying he should not be Manchester United's captain. He's not a good player, he's this, he's that. First of all, he had a bad game against Liverpool. He had a shocking game. And there's no defending that. There's no defending the performance yesterday, just like there's no defending anybody's performance yesterday. I don't think anybody came out of that game with any sort of credit. I mean, you couldn't even say that anybody came out of it neutral. I think everybody who played that game, and that includes the subs. The only probably even maybe Antony Elanga is the only one out of the 16 players that took that won that field. I think only Antony Elanga escapes with a neutral sort of thing, because he didn't play the full, because he only played 6 minutes and the game was done. But other than him, the other 15 players, they all come out of it negative. Everybody comes out with a minus. Nobody comes out even zero. It's like a minus, right? So there's no defending that. I think some of the reaction to Bruno Fernandes has been overrated, exaggerated. And the thing is, here's the thing you got to remember about Bruno Fernandes. First of all, he's played more games than anybody else in that squad. He has. And I wouldn't be surprised, I don't know the stats on this, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's played more games and more minutes than any other player across Europe. I definitely think that. He plays literally every game. I even said that he should have probably been rested for the West Ham game, but he even played the West Ham game. He played, almost a full 90. In fact, he did play the full 90 for the West Ham game as well. So he never gets a rest. He never gets, dropped or whatever. He's been playing every game. He's never been injured, so he doesn't lose that. So first of all, you've got to admire whatever team you're from. And remember, there's a lot of rival fans who jump on this goal. Fernandes, what a petulant kid, what a shit house and all of that, what a piece of shit and all of that stuff that has been said. You can't deny the man's work rate. I mean, he plays literally every game, right? And he plays wherever you ask him to play. He plays as a false 9, he plays as number 10, left wing, right wing, probably even plays CDM if you wanted him to. He plays wherever you ask him without any complaint. He never complains. You don't hear anything bad about him in terms of his professionalism, his attitude. I mean, the fact is, the guy literally does everything that you ask of him as a player. So how could you got to admire that? I mean, I know trolls will not, but as a fan of football, you've got to admire that. For me, he's been one of the players of the season. And let's not forget, he's very important to this team. Whether he's scoring, and a lot of people judge it on goals and assists. Bruno is beyond that. Bruno is not just goals and assists. I've said this so many times, the underrated aspect of his game is how much support he provides from the number 10 position off the ball. He tracks back, he's covered for, Christian Eriksen wouldn't have been as good if he didn't have Bruno in front of him, because Bruno and Casemiro together, they cover for his lack of defensive awareness. If you play him on the wing, you lose that. If you play him as a number 10, he offers so much. He tracks back every single time I see him. He's normally he's many times the first guy who's tracking back from that front four. He's someone who's tracking back, who's trying to help out. He does that. And then he's running forward again to join the attack. So after doing that, he does that again. It's such a high intensity role. He provides a support for Fred now. Fred, I think, is a completely different player when Bruno Fernandes plays in front of him, as opposed to Weghorst or whoever plays in front of him. He's a very, very different player. We literally have no replacement for him in the squad. Bruno Fernandes is the only one of his type in that squad. Nobody else can play that position to the level that he can. And I don't even think there is a number 10 at the moment who's fit and who could take that position. So all of those things combined, you've got to say that he's doing an incredible job. And as captain, I mean, he's been a great captain. And would you want, he's been such a step up from Harry Maguire. I mean, there is no other captain. If Bruno Fernandes is not going to be a captain, who is going to be a captain? It can't be David De Gea. Because David De Gea is another one who has questions on him. Nobody wants him to be the goalkeeper next season. Not nobody, I should say, but a lot of people don't want him to be there next season. So he can't be the captain. Lisandro Martinez, I love Lisandro Martinez. He's one of my favorite players all time, not just in United, but across football, he's one of my favorite players. But he had a shocker on Sunday as well. So would you give him the role? I mean, he's no less of a shithouse than Bruno Fernandes is for me. So if your complaint is that he's a shithouse, you're a piece of shit, Lisandro Martinez is not the answer. Casemiro is not a long-term solution. I don't know how long he's going to be at Manchester United. So he's out. Rafa Varane, same thing. He's out as well. Who does that leave you with? Marcus Rashford? I don't think Marcus Rashford, needs to be put that burden with that responsibility of captaincy. So for me, and don't forget, Bruno Fernandes' record is pretty good as captain. He's actually been very, very good. Sometimes you got to take a step back, and we got to just go, right, this is it's one defeat, right? It's a bad score line, but it's one defeat. It happens. And I said this yesterday. Liverpool had everything go their way yesterday. They literally had every single thing go their way, and Manchester United had everything not going their way. It was one of those days where everything bad that could happen happened, and everything that good that could have happened for Liverpool happened. And that's why that result is what it is. It doesn't happen every day. It doesn't happen every game. There's a reason why these kind of results have only happened once every 100 years, right? It's the first time that it's happened in 90 years or so. That's because you require that kind of thing. It's not going to happen every day. It might. I hope it doesn't, but it does. It shouldn't, right? And then you come to the end. For the rival fans go, oh, he's a piece of shit. That's Bruno Fernandes? That's how it is. He's, when things are going his way, he is a fantastic player. He's on it. He's passionate. And when it doesn't go his way, he's going to do that. He's going to cry. He's going to be petulant. He's going to be the kind of person who's going to whine, who's going to complain. That's just Bruno Fernandes. You don't see him every week because you're a rival fan, obviously. But I see that every week. I see him. He's always complaining. And who doesn't? Like, I mean, those guys didn't watch the Barcelona game. I saw the Barcelona game. Xavi got a penalty for his side, which probably shouldn't have been a penalty, but he gets a penalty, and he still complains 2 minutes later because he didn't get a foul. So who doesn't? Who doesn't in this modern day age? Jack Grealish, right? Manchester City complains every single time when the ball does. I mean, how many times is he complaining in the Newcastle game? Oh, give me a foul, give me a foul. Right? So Jack Grealish does it. Every player. I mean, there's so many players across the world that do it, right? But Jack Grealish will never get called out because he's English. Xavi didn't get called, got called out a little bit, but he got called out. But yeah, he's done it. What I mean is that some players don't get called out even though they do it. With Jack Grealish, for example, and I'm sure there's others. I'm picking back Jack Grealish because I saw it over the weekend. It's fresh in my mind, but I'm sure there's others as well who do it, who are English and who will never get called out because they're English. There are other managers and other players in other leagues who do it, right? And they get called out, but then people forget about it, and this, because it's fresh now, 6 in. So I don't think Bruno Fernandes does anything that any other player doesn't do, right? It's just that Bruno Fernandes is the captain of Manchester United. Manchester United open, there are the people out there who watch football solely for the reason of hating Manchester United, and so therefore they pick on it, right? And that's fine. You do that. I think as Manchester United fans, though, you've got to be patient with the players. You cannot turn on players just because they had one bad game, right? And I'll be the first one to say this could be a blip. This could be the start of a rut. It could be the start of a downfall. It could be anything. But right now it is just one game. So we've got to back our players. We've got to back the captain, which is Bruno Fernandes in this instance. And you've got to give them a chance to prove, because I think they've earned the chance to prove themselves in the next game. Now, if the next game the same thing happens and they get smashed by Betis, right? Or something, or they play very, very dreadfully, then yes, by all means, let's take that forward. Let's be more critical and let's be more harsh. But you've got to take it every game. You can't just go one game is, we lost 7-0 to Liverpool, change the whole team, right? Bring in 11 changes, sack the managers. It doesn't work that way. Sack the captain. It doesn't work that way. But I'm just saying, I think Bruno Fernandes has had an outstanding season. He's been an outstanding player. At the end of his career, if he keeps on this trajectory, not the Liverpool game, but pre-Liverpool game, if he keeps that level, I think he will be one of the greats of the Premier League. Forget the greats of Manchester United, he'll be one of the greats of the Premier League. He's an absolute gem of a player. And I can say this to any rival fan without any, and people know me, I'm not someone who, who talks just, on hyperbole, but I do believe that if he was in your team, you would love him. Not, you may not like to see the petulance, and that's fine. But what he offers on that field is something that any football fan should appreciate, because and I put all of that, whatever I said. If you can't admire that, then football is not for you. It's just not for you. Or at least modern football is not for you, because, you've got to overlook the petulance. Everybody does it. But aside from that, what he offers on that field is something that you can admire. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Again, it's just my opinion, but I do believe that. And I love watching. I love seeing Bruno Fernandes play. And just like I love watching a lot of other players play, and it's just something. But that's my point, and I do believe a part of that is because he's not English, right? The media don't jump on him because the media jump on him because he's not English, right? The rival fans, they jump on him because obviously he's the kind of player that you would want to hate. If he's not playing for you, you'd want to hate him. That's just what it is. But that's because you don't see him every week. You don't see the side that you see of him is the side when Manchester United are not playing well. That's when that side comes out. When United are playing well, you don't see that side of him to that extent that you saw on Sunday. You won't see it because he's not that, because he just, when things are going well, people don't do that, right? Don't go to that extent because it was just a one-off, right? So that's what I will say about that. And if you're a United fan, you just got to take it with the rough with the smooth. It's just, you got to take the rough with the smooth. He is going to have games where he's not going to play well, but the team is not going to play well, and that's going to frustrate him, and that's going to come out in that way. That's just what it is. But you get to that, you then get games where he's absolutely excellent, and and he's a brilliant player, and you don't see that as much. And what you see is a leader, a workhorse, someone who's tenacious, who's passionate, who's fighting for every inch of grass, and who's fighting to make the team better. I mean, that's, how can you not do that? Anyway, that's my defense of Bruno Fernandes. Let me know what you think, of course, about him. And whether you're a United fan, whether you're a Royal fan, you'd agree with me, you disagree with me, put that in the comments. Of course, I always love to hear your thoughts. At the end of the day, it's all about opinions. This is my opinion. Your opinion could be different, and maybe you see things that I don't, right? But this is what I see. So let me know in the comments, of course, and do smash a like if you enjoyed this video. If you are a Bruno Fernandes fan still, please do smash a like on this video. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Of course, we love your support. We appreciate that, and want to grow this channel, so that really means a lot to me. So please do subscribe, and yeah, take care. We'll have one more video coming up after this, so please subscribe to get notified. Take care. We'll see you again soon. Bye bye.